And good morning. It's time for Urban Agoge. Except it really isn't this week. Apologies for missing out 2 days of videos. I'm very sorry about that. I've just been basically demotivated a little bit by various things this week, which is odd, because you'd think I would be more motivated. It's just, what Harlequin might call a techno-funk, and by which I don't mean the music. I've been really struggling with the 3D printer, and it's one of those things where technology will just obsess you for the entire time, and working a few extra hours and stuff like that. So it has been a case of not only fiddling with the 3D printer and getting a bit frustrated with it for various reasons, and might well start up the 3D printer diary, and also waiting for stuff that I've got this weird habit of waiting for postage stuff to be delivered, and sort of literally almost sitting behind the door waiting for the postman, because I used to live in a place where it was very difficult to get post, and they never ever seemed to deliver eBay parcels. It was very frustrating. So yeah, here we are in the woods. So I will promise you a video every day for this week. I've missed out 2 days, and as a result of tinkering with things and having other things on my mind, I found it almost impossible to become motivated, and the deadline of the week and all that sort of thing has just crept up on me. So as the thing to do with self-imposed stress is take some time off. So it has to be said, I've sort of decided to take this week off. And I know I've had a few weeks off in this whole Urban Agoge thing, but and if I was doing nothing else, or if I was unemployed, I could sort of get it and I would push myself. But I've got a job and all sorts of other things to do, and all sorts of other things to arrange. So yeah, I'm taking some time to get my house in order, get all my stuff prepared, and then sort of dig into it again next week as far as the exercise goes. But I am going to at least get out into the woods for the remaining 4 days of this week. I just couldn't get myself motivated. So yeah. So I'll be starting week 11 again next week, in week 16. But there again, that at least gives me material to do stuff. No, it's still completely ungettable too. I need to come down here one afternoon. Can't get to that other side of the woods. It's a joy. But yeah. So when you don't achieve what you thought you might achieve, you do get a little bit dispirited, but that's not. It's more about overcoming that. It's more about saying to yourself, right, I'm gonna get X, Y, and Z done. So, and as a result of having something as insanely interesting as a 3D printer in my house, I've just spent all the time playing with that and trying to get that to work. Because in fairly typical fashion, if I ever do the early adoption thing, there's always some drawback. And the drawback in this case is it's not a fully supported printer in the sense of software. The manual is fairly horrible, and the software compatibility is pretty bad. So yeah, and I don't want to use this, you know, I'm going to have a few goes. I'm going to go back to basics and see what I can do. I mean, it's not that I haven't learned things, but yeah, I do feel that with this particular printer there is a certain amount of disinterest in the wider community, and answers that I'm not overly thrilled with. So, you know, the prints are coming out fairly scrappy even on fine setting, and some of them aren't coming out at all, and all sorts of things that are probably my fault, my settings, but it looks like there isn't any research on this. Or there has been research, but the people that have done the research have fixed it for themselves and then not shared it across the internet with people. You know, just a land of unhelpful suggestions, which I feel is almost a kind of defeatist thing, where people, you know, say, oh right, well you need to, you know, I've even seen people say on the internet, you need to go and buy another printer, or you need to buy this super expensive piece of software. You know, people saying, well, you know, you can only use this printer really with a program called Simplify 3D, which costs about 150 quid, which is pretty strange. So this is you know, the printer that I've chosen, you know, for ease of use, doesn't really have the kind of support in Simplify 3D. So yeah, so that's pretty interesting. I have managed to get a well-known 3D printing program called Cura to actually export the right code, but so far it hasn't actually compiled any printing. Hasn't actually managed to churn out a print. The code is compiled, it goes into the printer, and the printer then does nothing, which is pretty bad. So yeah, I've got a few things that I want to try. So yeah, so apologies for getting sidetracked, but I think, you know, something like a 3D printer is almost the theme of Urban Agoge, as will be several other things that will come up next year, like growing your own food and generating your own power. You know, a 3D printer is one of those things where you are generating your own things. You know, it's definitely the case that so it's definitely the case that progress is being made. I'm still getting up early in the morning. I'm still putting some effort into making my life simpler and more straightforward. Just like it's all things, it's work. When you actually have a job that's currently chewing up, including travel time to work and back, about 50 odd hours a week, and it's yeah, and all sorts of other things that I'll be talking about in the near future. There's some events coming up and things I've got to do, or that I'd like to do, and that I want to take the camera to. So yeah, we can't have it all. I'm speaking of that, I'm not speaking of you, the audience, but clearly there is only so much doing things energy, and I can't remember who was it that described it as spoons. There's only so many spoons in the kitchen drawer. Once you've taken them all out, you've got to reboot your spoons. And for the last couple of months, well, the last 3 months, 3 or more months really, if we're on week 15, That's more than 3.5 months. So yeah, since I started the project. So yeah. Really closed in by the Himalayan mountain vine, which grows fantastically in northern climes. But yeah, there's only so much you can actually do with your time. You can get more done. I'm already getting more done than I was. But occasionally it can be quite a lot of work. So I've decided to just go, right, I will shoot at least a video a day for the rest of this week and get a walk out in the morning, and that's going to be my exercise. I'm going to go back, and then starting Monday I'll start running again. I did try and spread out the exercise a bit more. I don't actually think that's too helpful. I think it's actually better to do the exercise on prescribed days. But now I'm working from Monday lunchtime rather than Monday evening. I think what I'll do is I'll start the week on the Tuesday and see what happens from there. But yeah, it has been hard to motivate myself not to get out the door, so I've already dealt with that. And yesterday I was invited out for breakfast and went for breakfast, and obviously you eat a big breakfast and you come back and you just sit around. But yeah, it has been a considerable amount of work. So yeah, let's just adjust that. So apologies for this week. You can't really, with any kind of, I mean, my social life's pretty non-existent apart from online, but you can't really do it all the time. You need time out, you need a break from stuff. And although I'll still be doing some videos, I need to mentally sort of clear my desk of outstanding paperwork before I can do all this other stuff. So yeah, so that's pretty much the deal. So let's get back to producing a video every day for the rest of the week, and then start producing stuff with the exercise in. Could have lied. Could have said I did the exercise. I just, had a camera failure on all 4 times I should have been doing it this week. But yeah. So I'm going to take some time and unwind without the pressure for a few days. I've had a very stressful time of it for reasons I shall go into at a later date. And not, sort of like super stressful times, but it's all about waiting for people to get their ends organised at work, asking for things to happen, waiting for things to be delivered, not being able to really relax until those things have been delivered, not really being able to tidy up, on top of the techno funk. Should insert a little musical sting there, but the idea of being bummed out when a piece of technology doesn't work, and I've had a lot of that this week. When you think a job will be simple and you take something apart in order to fix it, and you realise it's much, much more complicated. So yeah, so that's a hassle. And living, because I'm doing that, in an ever messier house. So yeah, got to get that sorted. Got to get back on track. Got some maintenance to do. Yeah, it's like I've run the tank of my body for too many hours, and now it's freaking out about a refit. So I need to just let it go. Drop some of the voluntary stuff, keep doing a video every day, which is more important, and get on with stuff. So yeah, so I want to do a bunch of vids about the camera kit, and I want to do a bunch of vids about the 3D printer, But that was kind of, you know, where things went a little bit wrong, in that trying to do the 3D printer videos and trying to get something that was worth videoing, you know, i.e. I could now print 3D images without it being too much of a faff, ended up sort of sucking me down the rabbit hole of trying to get the 3D printer to work ideally, you know, in a more ideal way, because nearly all the prints I've done have been flawed in some way, even though that I would consider them successful because they weren't flawed structurally. Just getting it to print what it should print is yeah, probably my fault, probably down to the settings. So for today and tomorrow I'm going to have a fiddle around with that, but I'm going to make sure that you guys get a video every day for the rest of this week, and we'll get back onto the exercise regime next week. Because I'm choosing to do this. I wandered all the way back, yes. And it seems like a real idiotic thing to grind myself down about it. You know, we can't all, if we were all actually in the army, we wouldn't have anything else really to think about. We were living in barracks, doing the exercises, learning stuff, working long days, and, you know, getting a few days off. But none of my days off have felt like days off so far. You know, not for a while. So every day off I've had has been scrunched down into waiting for people or doing things and things like that. So need to just say, right, okay, I'm just going to do the work thing, and I'm just going to wind down. And I've got some time off coming up in the next week or so, and I intend to have that off. So there may be videos that are timed to be uploaded while I'm off doing things, but we'll see. I'll try and shoot some extra videos so you can have something, or if I'm lucky I might be able to organise myself enough to upload stuff while I'm away, because while I'm away I'll definitely be taking my camera. I just don't know if I'll have the best editing facilities. Yeah, let's not abandon the core principles. Get up early, get stuff done, make a note of it. I have managed to keep a journal for the entire time I've been doing this, which is good. But I'm not really, I think where it's failing is I'm not really looking at the long-term goals that I wanted to achieve with this year. And this year is starting to run out now. Although, you know, Urban Agoge happened. Got an interesting community of people that want to do stuff, which is great. But, you know, that's not a downer. That's just a bump in the road, really. Hardly even that. I've got time. So yeah. Just time to change the things that I feel that I've got to do with this into things that I want to do. I need to step back and take a run up. But yeah, outside of that, it's all good. Got new patrons, new subscribers, it's awesome. If you're watching this, in the unlikely event that you're watching this, do subscribe, do like, watch the videos to the end. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, don't worry about it if you don't want to. Just thought, if we want to change the world, you've got to be in good shape. And I've got like a little bit of an announcement of an event I want to go to that may or may not be apropos of changing the world, but we'll see. But I will go and I will listen to the people at this event and see if they've got anything that we can use or we can do to help, if indeed their plan has a good chance of success. So yeah, so interesting stuff coming up. There really is. I'm aware that it must get pretty boring just watching me walk through the woods, but let's call it a podcast, you know, with nice visuals. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Tomorrow's video will contain stuff based on what happens today, probably. So thank you very much for watching, and do take care.